What's going on, everybody? It's Nine Wings.
It's good.
It's a gas crisis. No one saw that.
That's what happens.
The government was like, no, you ain't gonna talk about that shit.
No, it wasn't. But
as I was saying, there's a
yes, it's a gas crisis.
Let me stop. What's going on, everybody? This is Nine Wings. We're into a new month, and it's a gas crisis, a war, crazy shit going on.
Yep.
Teachers feeding kids cupcakes.
Pause.
They giving out straight.
It's the truth.
Of all the things you could do, right?
Right.
But then, only reason she got caught is because her husband is a pervert. He's a deputy sheriff raping kids. But it was his special sauce in the cupcakes. And she was just willy-nilly at school. She was like, hey, I got him. Get him, buddy. Get him. Kids.
Oh, my God.
Do you know how many parents probably wanted to go there and whip that lady's ass?
I don't think whipping would be justifiable for her.
Oh, you
As
don't?
a parent.
Okay, what would you do?
I don't know. I feel like that's a set of questions.
Is that a question?
Yeah, because there's no whipping here. You don't. You're not. You don't.
Oh, so you're gonna go have a calm conversation? Excuse me, Miss Teacher. You and your husband fed my kid nasty ass cupcakes full of y'all special semen sauce, and I wanted to make sure that you don't ever do that again. No, I don't think so. I think I'm gonna just go ahead and call up Enterprise and rent a. What's the biggest thing they got? That new Grand Cherokee shit?
Yeah.
Rent one of them.
Wagoneer.
Grand Wagoneer. 3 series.
Yeah.
3.
Right.
And then I would wait outside school. And then I was Suge Knighter. Now, for y'all who trying to figure out what Suge Knight did, you have to go look that up.
Mm-hmm.
But I was Suge Knighter. We usually eat wings, but as you can see behind me,
yeah,
gas is so high.
Yeah, it's high.
We only could afford muffins and danishes and shit. We couldn't even get wings no more. Because if we get wings, then we can't afford to drive. So this shit is crazy.
Yeah. I prefer wings. But I'm pretending that this pastry that I'm eating right here is a sweet wing. You know, a little drizzle of sweetness on it.
I'm too fat to play that game. I'm just going to say that for the record.
No, it's not.
Oh, you can't explain it. I'm too fat.
Obviously, you trying to go back.
Look.
All right, so, like the gas prices is, whether the government want to say it or not, they're gouging. And
why is the government gouging? Why do you think the government's gouging?
Well, I don't think necessarily government. Well, they have the opportunity to relieve some of the pain.
Relieve the pressure. But
they're going to hold on to the reserve that they have.
But shouldn't they hold on to the reserve they have?
Well, you can. But if what me and you had discussed about Russia, if he decides to go full on ham. And he says, yo, I'm going to make it worse for everybody if y'all intervene, right? Then that means, what is the worst thing that somebody can actually do to cripple
the world,
your society, your neighborhood, your livelihood?
Well, since he's got Chernobyl, he has Chernobyl now, and that's nuclear waste. Then you have pipeline that runs through Europe. But he also has the biggest arsenal of nuclear weapons the world's probably ever seen besides us. And since Superman doesn't exist, and he starts letting them off, and we let him off, well, hope your family has a bunker somewhere, but I'm not going to tell y'all where, because when it gets rough, I'm going.
Whoosh. Hey, man. You around? Sorry. The number you have dialed.
Sorry, the number you have dialed is now disconnected or cannot be found. If you feel you reached an error, please.
Yeah. But I feel like before we get to that point, I feel like he would blow the pipeline.
Well, the pipeline's going to get blown anyway. I mean, I just watched a movie on Netflix 2 weeks ago about that whole situation. The pipeline is getting blown. The pipeline is the one thing that everybody's like, I know NATO's going to come in. The U.S. is going to have to figure out something. Because we depend on oil too much. Should we?
I mean, it's a natural resource.
So is sunlight.
That's what that's, well, yeah.
Oh.
No. I mean, solar panels.
Guess what? Sunlight doesn't do that. Gasoline does.
What, move your car?
We're going to act like he did not just say that.
Because it can.
Yeah, sunlight moves your car. That's basically what a Tesla is. Especially if you have a house that has a solar power, your whole house is charged off it, and then your car is charged off it. But it doesn't give off emissions, sir.
That is true.
So it's a cleaner thing. But the sad thing is, let's get into a little bit of Black history.
It's going to cost more to make it, though.
Does it?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. Let me tell you a secret.
To make solar panels?
No. Electric cars.
Electric cars would cost more to make it.
Let me tell you why.
Don't you have to dig for it? Okay, I'm gonna shut up.
Okay. Nikola Tesla. The car Tesla's the original Tesla. Came up with basically an electric engine.
Huh?
He also came up with electricity and that moves like 5G. This is 1900s. But so what we're doing 5G, he was already doing in 1900. What we're doing with Tesla cars, electric cars, solar cars, he was doing that in the 1900s, but he wanted to do it for free and give it to the people. The people, on the other hand, wanted to make money. So that's where our big problem comes in at.
Money.
Money. We always fight over money. Money is the root to half of the evils. The other half of the evils is lust. I'm not talking about like for women. I'm just talking about lust for anything.
Okay.
Now, I got to do it to you, Willy B. You know I'm about to go there, right? Everybody, ever since I met Willy B, started knowing about him and his family, I told him he should have a sitcom. He told me I should have a sitcom. And I told him, no. Your life is better than mine for a sitcom. He said, no. You should have a sitcom. And I was like, nah, you should have a sitcom. Well, guess what? We went to Murray, and I have the test results right here, everybody. Right here are the test results. Let me put my reading glasses on good.
I in my defense, I feel like you have a better
sitcom life. Mm-hmm. In his defense, but the survey says 99.999% Willy B has a sitcom life. Now, for you to have a sitcom life, you must have a conflict.
You have those.
Okay. You must have a life-altering but funny experience.
You have that as well.
All right. You have to have a comical experience, usually with an animal or something within your household.
You do that as well.
Okay.
You don't have an animal, but you have two very, very funny sons.
I have two very funny sons. That is true.
And then your wife brings it on home.
She brings it on home. But this week, my man Willy B, he had a sitcom life. I'm not even going to tell y'all because he's going to go on his own page. You're going to have to find him on Facebook.
I'm not going to talk about this on my page.
You got to. This is the funniest shit ever. Yo, when I tell you this shit was funny, this shit was funny. Then he did something else in a week that made me call him Tricky Sam, which I definitely can't tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
Because that shit will blow your mind. People was like, yo, what? If you're from Eastern Carolina, one day it's going to all come out, hopefully. When it does, and we talk about it, you're going to be like, yo, that boy from New York, he's a real G for that one. He's a real G. I'm telling you. I had to change his name from Willy B to Tricky Sam. And if you're from Greenville, you know Tricky Sam's a scary dude. Tricky Sam will get you. Man. Now, we're going to get to the serious part.
Oh, man.
Black history.
Yes. Let's talk about Black history. Enough about me, sir.
He really thought I was going to go there. You should have seen the look on his face. He thought.
Yeah, I already did.
He was like, shit.
Now you're going to have everybody like, yo, Will, what happened?
Asked him. Yo, it's the funniest shit. He ain't probably going to tell you. But, yo, one day, yo, he could do an hour sitcom. That shit was like the Huxtables. Pure Huxtable comedy. Bill was right. Claire was wrong. Semi. But Bill let Claire prove her point so that Bill at the end could go blah, 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 blah. And you know what's crazy about it? If it was a sitcom, that shit probably would outsell the damn Bel Air series. Because that shit was Will. One day, I'm going to be like you. Not no time soon, maybe in 3 years. 3 years, I might go through that. I got about 3 years. I'm thinking.
I think you're gonna be in a different place at that particular point. You don't have to worry about that, sir.
Oh yeah, yeah, I just had a funny idea. Welcome back. This is how I started laughing every time he would tell me this shit. Oh my God, he knows. Oh,
the fact of the matter is,
it was a learning experience for everyone involved, I believe.
Yes, it was. It was a very learning experience, knowing that we all, at the end of the day, had that
come to Jesus moment.
Yeah, we did, you know. So I mean, everybody had a pill to swallow.
Wow. Now I'm about to pop y'all some pills. Okay.
All right, let's hit it. Let's go.
So Ukraine.
Okay.
A lot of people. I told you before this month was out, I will let y'all know my lineage.
Now or later? Candy, not later. I mean, I was back out.
I'm gonna give it some of it now, then they get rest of it later. It's gonna take them a while to catch on.
Okay.
So when I go to New York, I've been mistaken for an Arab, been mistaken for people from the West Indies. I've been mistaken as a Dominican. I've been mistaken as
I get that. I think I'm Dominican. Where I got all this on.
Then me and my cousin Rob, when we were working at US Cellular, and I might get a clip of Rob and get him to talk about it. But we were working, and this white lady came in with a broken phone. But she was sitting there by the owner. So she came in, she looked at me and Rob, and then she was like, "Y'all related?" And we were like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Oh my God, how you do, my kings?" White woman. Like, and we were like, "What the?"
I never got that.
So she's sort of like telling us all this crazy stuff. So her phone is like, she wants to save all her memories, and she has another phone, but it's not home. And by the time she goes home, everything will be closed. Right. So she asked me, "Can I come to her house?" This is an old white woman. I'm like, okay. So I go to her house.
Oh, boom.
Mm-hmm.
You're in New York? Or are you here?
I'm here.
And she wants you to come to her house.
Yes. You see where?
Okay.
Yeah, and I was kind of skeptical, and so I went there, and I stood at the front of the door, like in her like at her front door, and I said, "I can do the phone out here." She was like, "No, come on in."
Oh.
So when I walked in.
I'm sorry. I gotta ask you this question, sir. To go, were you going for like to go there for the phone to? Are you doing this for the company?
Yes.
Or you just want to deliver some phone service?
No. Oh. I was doing it for the company. Like she was sent by the
dedication right there.
She was sent by the owner, like, and she needed a contact, and she was an older lady. So
she knows the owner. Oh, okay. So that makes more sense now.
Okay, so but still, I'm not trying to go in her house, all that. But it comes out, she tells me to come in. So as soon as I walk in, she goes, You grew up around here? I was like, mm-hmm. She goes, you ever been to South America? So then she lets me know she's a award-winning author about ancient Black cultures. Stays here in my hometown. Like the house where I went to was like right around the corner. So as I'm going through there, she's got like Mayan and Mexican artwork, but all the artwork don't look like nothing I ever seen because it's all with Black people. Not
found out that it's Black Mexicans.
Yeah, like no Mongolian looking, no Asian looking Mexicans. No, I got a classmate named Juan Meza. No Juan Meza looking Mexicans. Shout out Juan Meza. No Mexicans that look like that. The Mexicans look like me and you. Okay. Well, they're not even Mexicans, they're South Americans. Peru, she starts talking about, different stuff. She starts talking about Peru is Jerusalem, such and Solomon is here, and blah, blah, blah. And she's telling me things that I find out later.
Okay.
But she's telling me this stuff, right? So I'm like, oh, okay. So she goes, y'all, you and your cousin are from lines of kings. Now, I'm searching my lineage during this time, but I'm not all the way in. So I'm like, what? She was like, I can look at your face. I've seen the pictures of people that look like you're from the line of the kings. I was like, what kings? She was like, the kings that was anointed by God, the Hebrew kings, the real kings. I was like, Jewish people? And she was like, no, Jewish, Jew, and Hebrew are three different things. And she breaks it down on some shit like Whoopi was saying. Okay. So I leave. She tells me, she tries to get me wine. She like, oh, I have this wine. I've been waiting for a special occasion. I have a king in my house. You want something? She starts pouring wine. I'm like, no, I don't want to drink. Like I'm on the clock. She's like, it's okay. And I'm like, no, I'm cool. She's like, if you ever want to know anything, come back. Too inviting.
Oh, bad.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, nah, I'm good. But
find out what that.
No.
Some call you king and all that.
It could go bad. So, fast forward. Okay. Start getting into my lineage. Start finding things that I don't understand. Like what? So at first, when I'm finding these pictures of people, they're white people. Doesn't make sense. Like, I come from a lot of white people? No, dude, I don't know. Okay. Then the second part is none of this ancestry links back to Africa. Then I find my mother was a dark-skinned woman who had very fine, soft hair.
Okay.
My father was a very light, bright, gray-eyed, dark, curly-locked man. So until recently, I thought they got married here in the United States, but I found out they got married in Canada. And I'm talking to an older lady in my family, and she tells me a little something like, I don't think the U.S. government would allow them to get married here. Why?
Right.
Don't know. Then I find out. So I found out my father's lineage comes from Ingrid Osmondaughter. And Ingrid Osmondaughter is the progenitor of Europe.
So you know that word that you just used, progenitor?
Yes, you don't know.
Right, you have to break
Okay.
that down. So
let me go to layman terms.
Please, sir.
She was the mother who gave birth to what we call Europe. So,
okay.
When you get into it, she had the child that we become the Queen of France, Norway, Sweden, Yugoslavia, Ukraine, Russia, Vladimir, who ended up being Transylvania, and as it spread and they conquered and they took over Europe. Okay. So my bloodline, we can trace it from about 700 all the way to present day by birth certificates.
Wow.
So I found out that my father's line was never into slavery. They owned slaves. Then that's when you start finding out that these are Hebrew people. And you find out they start moving around. And then you find out certain ones of these Hebrew people go into India. Certain ones do go into Africa, but they didn't originate in Africa. They ran into Africa. Some of them ran all over. And a lot of them ran into the Carolinas. Some of them ran down into Louisiana.
Okay.
So your 12 tribe or your 10 tribes, the kingdoms come here and start their territories. This is the promised land. So why did it really hit me? Because the other day when Vladimir was saying he was denazifying or he was Nazifying the Ukraine, it made me think like,
he said denazifying.
Yeah,
Ukraine.
Yeah, it made me think about Hitler.
Okay.
So if you're Nazifying is meaning you're getting the Jews out. So if that means you're denazifying, it means you're getting the non-Jews out.
I don't know.
So
that's a good question.
I started finding lineage of my family in Asia also. Asia? Huh? Yeah, I started thinking about Big Daddy Kane back in the day when he was like Afro-Asiatic. Oh. Then that's when I started finding. Started getting people getting here who were Hebrews in the 1500s. Because in 1492, they got expelled from Europe. So basically being in a war. So show you how times hasn't changed, and this is real history. Say you're the king in the royal family in the royal army of France.
Okay.
And you get beat. And some new people take over your throne that beat you. And they know that you're going to try to take your shit back. Are they going to leave you in the same area that you're in?
No.
No, so they packed them all up and sent them to 2 places. Really, 3 places. Jamaica, Haiti, and Louisiana. Split them up. Put your one set of army people in Jamaica and one set of army people in Haiti. Put the royal people in Louisiana.
Which therefore means what? Like slavery? I mean, wouldn't it be? Well, to me, it sounds like slavery, but also it could also mean prisoner of war, right?
Prisoner of war, exile, slavery, same shit.
Okay.
It make my point. When you look at present day, we went in Afghanistan, right?
Yeah.
We made them pick poppies. You see pictures of soldiers with guns over top of the field, like overseers. They get to stay on the land. We get the poppies. Sharecropping, prisoner of war.
Put those two together. I see where you're coming from with that.
So start realizing a lot of people that you thought were white in history were passing for white, meaning what they call a color of black is really not a color. It's not a race. Like, your race is like, my mother was of Irish origin. My dad is of European Russian origin. So I'm a black Russian Irishman. But you wanted to call me an African. How?
So it's
when you look at the old pictures from the ancient pictures, you start seeing people that look like us. Then you start seeing, even in statues. Why did all these white statues got big lips and big noses? If they're not knocking off. Because they sandblasted.
Yeah, because it's just like I was looking up today pictures of like the samurai and the mask that they wear. And if you really take a look at the mask that samurais wear, they're of our face. They have our nose structure, bone structure, which there are really black Asians, which I never really knew about it. So now when we start to look into really the origins and history of where our people are, you start realizing that it's more than what they're telling us. And like they said, like they hide this stuff in books, they hide information. And the only way you're gonna find out if you start really looking for it.
Right.
So what was that guy's name? They made that TV show. No, I think it's a movie on Netflix about the Black Samurai. Starts with the Y.
Yaksu.
That's just the start of what y'all can like really look it up, and then y'all can really go forward from there.
Well, right now I'm about to impose a picture, and me and Willy B have looked at this picture, and now y'all are seeing it. So I'm gonna break this picture down for you real quick. So in this picture, there's a man, there's a woman, and a baby.
Okay.
The man is holding a sword. Not your regular everyday sword, but he's holding a sword. And you're probably wondering yourself, why does this man have this sword? Well, this is not your everyday sword. It's a special sword. You see, it doesn't look like all others went in this blunt. So I found out where this sword comes from. This sword is called Korra. And this is a sword that was kind of like the boomerang they use in an airbender. But it's from Naples. Now you're like, Naples? Naples in India. And you find out the people in Naples, certain ones aren't Indian nor Chinese.
Okay.
They're Black Jews. So as you start getting into what is this person and what is that? Why they look like something ain't right? So then we see in this sword is from the 1500s. This man is wearing a belt with a fringe on it. You find out from the Bible, you can tell a Hebrew by he guarded himself with a belt with fringes. He has a shield. Now we're going to really get into it. If you look at the shirt is going across like a karate gi. Now we're going to look at the shoes. He has on Chinese shoes.
I forgot the name. I know they have a name. I don't remember the name. It's a name. But the fact of the matter is, he got the shoes. And, you know, it makes you think like things was already been invented, and then all they did was reinvent it to make it like they invented it, which is crazy to me. It's you know, it's like history repeats itself. It's just like the style that we got now. Like now everybody's going back to the 80s. Trying to go back to being colorful and stuff like that. And just saying we're trying to do it in a more fresher way. But you know, it seems like they hide out the origination of these type of artifacts that we're finding. This history. And if you had time to sit back, trace your lineage, and not exactly go by what you call it?
Hold on one second. Now, as we start getting back into history, right, and you start looking,
yes,
you start seeing that what you learn is not all what you know.
Transformers.
Did you know that Hebrews were the ones that paid George Washington's bill off? You'd be like, what bill? Oh, his bill for waging war against Britain and not being able to pay the soldiers.
Oh.
So how the hell? See, they thought. So you find there's a letter that is written to George Washington where they address the Israelites, not the Hebrew, not the Jewish, but the Hebrew Israelites. And
so let's get this correct. The Hebrew Israelites. These people are not the ones that we see on the corner. I mean, I'm from the city, so y'all don't really get that.
Yeah, I know.
Like when you walk in downtown Brooklyn, and you know you got these guys, and they just be going. Or you like,
Proverbs 1:1. Yo, you are not the chosen. Those people. Stop. Revelation 1:11. Where are those books from? Asia. Read what it says the Asia the books are from. It says the Alpha and the Omega. It says the what? The Alpha and the Omega. You know,
they be out there. Yeah, they be out there.
And they, okay, yeah.
With the microphone and the speaker and all that.
See, oh man, how do I want to?
Because see, when you saying this, like, and you know, we get people watch this podcast from here to there, city, whatever, and when you saying these are what, like, if I didn't know, that's what I'll be thinking of. Like those dudes over there.
So let me
all blacked out in 90-degree weather, speaking the word with the table out with books out.
Yeah, nah, that's not them.
I'm just saying.
They're representing religion.
Okay.
But don't get me wrong. What they're saying is true. So let me break something down to you. I think I blew Willy B and his woman's mind the other day. So when you find out that there's 7 books of the Bible, not 2, but 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we know about the Old Testament and New Testament. That's what we try to live by. But what if the Quran is one? What if the Book of Mormon is one? Enoch, Maccabees, Jubilees, or maybe Book of Solomon, which is a book of demonology, which isn't about doing magic, but telling you how to know what demons are and how they affect people and how to banish them from your area. See, well, that's kind of important. But, or Enoch, where they talk about the fallen angels, but you don't read Enoch because they don't put it in your Bible, but you watch the motherfucking Transformer movies. And Enoch is all about the fallen angels, these singing beings who are able to transform into things that they see upon this earth. I don't know if we have a movie where people fall is a fall from the sky and and they get here and they see shit, they transform into it. And then in Enoch, they talk about Megatron. What? I didn't say Megatron, I said Metatron. But it's close.
Okay.
And he's a warrior. You start finding out about different stuff. If you read Jubilees, it gives you the lineage of father, son, father, son, father, son, father, son, and who they married to, how they blend together, and what he went up to. Maccabees tells you basically what happens after the Romans. So basically, where it stops in with Paul, Maccabees is picking up the next part of the story. Well, you don't read all of those. The Book of Mormon, the Moor, Mormon book of. But y'all don't want to pay no attention to me. I'm giving y'all some real history. Book of Mormon about what Americas and religion, and when Jesus came back, he went somewhere. Look up Smithsonian and Jesus' grave. They're going to, everything is out there is certain things, but then you find out other things isn't, or is it, and they just don't tell you. And you start looking and seeing, Great Wall. Didn't Jerusalem have a Great Wall? What is wrapped around China?
A Great Wall. A nice Great Wall.
Is it a Great Wall in Europe?
Berlin? And that was
before the Berlin. Watch this. The Great Wall is in Croatia. Is Croatia not near Russia?
Yeah.
And that's the timer saying Mother Russia is the time is up. There's morning. We must go. We must go, Mother Russia. No, I'm like, if the crazy thing is, before we get out of here, I'm gonna say this, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart.
Go ahead, bro.
To find out who you are, where you are, and then see wars going on from where you started, it helps you understand the world a little bit better. But the sad thing is, I don't want to see any wars. I don't want to see anyone die. I don't want to see people getting killed. I don't want any of that.
Nope.
But it's happening. And all I ask for is the people treat, like, if you don't want to be shot dead, then don't shoot nobody dead. So that thing about treating people as you want to be treated, we really need that right now, because I think we're about to see some things we've never seen before. And Corona was just that was the precursor to the big one. As Fred Sanford said, Elizabeth, I'm coming. This is the big one. I believe this is the big one. So remember, be safe. Love unto others as you have them love unto you. And check out your lineage, because you might not be African American. It might be your white neighbor who's something that you're claiming. That's all I'm going to say. Since we don't got no wings to drop on the floor, Willy B just gobbled up the last one live on camera. So we're going to call this a gobble fest. Bomb.